Hello, everyone. My name is Mary, and today I want to talk a little bit about a message that came to me earlier, and that is embracing or accepting all of life. The idea of expansion and unification. And the way this message came to me was through an oracle card reading I did for myself using the Journey of Love oracle deck, and the card that I picked was this one, the Cosmic Butterfly. And the Cosmic Butterfly is not about moving from one state to another state. It's not this very linear thing. It's an expansion. It's okay, I was this thing, but now I can be this. I can expand and be more holistic. To be divine, we can't live in separation. And I think this is the direction we're all going. Is we're seeing that all this like separation that we've been doing, like I'm not on their side, or there's them and there's me and there's them and us, and all this like taking sides. All that has to end, but mainly it's going to end inside ourselves. So like inside yourself, when you are trying to separate out the parts of you that you don't like, that you don't want to look at, that you don't want to acknowledge, maybe the habits or things that keep coming back to you, all those things. I've got that totally. And this is why this message totally hits home and really, really struck me. In a profound way, because we're all moving in that direction. We need to find a way to be okay with everything, to be unified. And that is not to say that, we all have to be like, I'm okay and you're okay and we're all doing okay. It's like there are certain people that are doing some really bad stuff, and that's not okay. But the thing is, we've got to see it, accept that it's going on, and respond to it. We have a responsibility not only to see everything that's going on inside ourselves, but to see everything that's going on in the world and to respond to it appropriately. God's universe is nothing if not balanced. So there's a way that God is going to deal with all the things that we're doing, that we have to all the things that are going wrong here, they're all going to balance out. And so let's start bringing about that balance by being balanced inside ourselves, by really seeing everything inside ourselves that is going on. And so I wanted to read a little bit from this book, the guidebook for this oracle deck. The messages in the book were written by Alana Fairchild, and the pictures, the artwork was done by, I don't know how to say his name, so I apologize to this person, Freydun Rasuli. So he did that artwork, he or she or whatever, I don't know. I cannot tell the gender of Freydun Rasuli, but that person did this gorgeous artwork, which is it's just really beautiful. Each one is really different in this deck. And there's also poems written by Richard Cohn. So here's first of all, this message begins with, you are being reborn from the pulsating womb of the Divine Mother. What a great message. But then she says, to surrender certainty in favor of openness, to accept the smallness of your everyday life whilst admitting to the magnificence of your being. And that really struck me. This in particular, to accept the smallness of your everyday life whilst admitting to the magnificence of your being. To accept the smallness, because that's what I feel. It really resonated with me, because there's so much that I'm like, really, I want so much more. I crave, my soul wants to expand in such a more profound way. And this really made it easier to understand how human life works, is that you have to accept the smallness of your everyday life. You have to accept all the little things that you've lived and that you've done and that, that are in existence in your life, while at the same time admitting to and holding and honoring the magnificence, as she says, of your being. So that is so powerful. And it brings to mind this idea of this superposition, the quantum theory of superposition, that particles can exist in more than one state at one time. And I think we're meant for that too. You know, you can be this human being who is fallible, who has, you know, issues and problems and hopes and dreams and, you know, whatever your life path has been, you can have that, but you can also have this expanded soul, you know, direct from God, blessed by God with infinite potential. And you can hold both of them at the same time. And both of these states can sort of inform each other and make you whole. You know, when you, and also parts of your life, you don't have to reject parts of your life to live a whole life, to be a fulfilled person. You can say, yep, I've done this, this, and this, but I still honor the magnificence of my being. And I think it's really a great first step towards, I don't know, like just holistic living is to really accept yourself. Another thing that she says here is, let this life seem as though you are living many lifetimes in one. It is possible for you to encounter the totality of human experience in this lifetime, should you be open to it. The totality. The totality doesn't mean only what you want. Like, I only want to experience that, and that, and everything else. No. You know, totality is the totality. you can experience it all. It doesn't mean that you are any less of a magnificent being. Nor does it mean that you have somehow given up your, responsibility. You have a responsibility to behave in a way that pleases yourself and pleases God, and in a way that brings about unity and love toward in the world. I think we all have that responsibility, and we're all hung up on, just trying to push aside the things we don't like, whether it's out there in the world or especially inside ourselves. I think it's a huge stumbling block. And the cosmic butterfly is showing us that we can expand, that an expanded state is the answer. It's not moving like, from here to there. It's expanding. It's up leveling. It's becoming bigger than the smallness that you thought you were. And she also says here, this is treading the enlightened path, embracing all of life. This is treading the enlightened path, embracing all of life. I love that. I love that. And it really rings true for me, because you have to look at all of life and all of yourself. And one thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this card was the hero's journey. And every hero's journey, every hero movie, most hero movies have this, character arc of the hero, where the hero starts off in a, lowered sort of circumstance, difficult circumstance, and rises up to become something great. And then he or she thinks, they've arrived. Like, here I am, I've arrived, and is doing their thing and battling the demons and the foes and the enemies, and they lose. There's some sort of like false victory or a stumbling block where they think they've arrived, but really they haven't. So it's like a false victory. And then at the end, there's a true victory. But what happens in between these points is usually a looking within. It's usually when the hero says, I have to, I got to really take, responsibility for myself. I've got to really look within at the problems and the things that I haven't been looking at in the past. And the one that came to mind was the Tim Burton Batman, where Batman sort of drops Joker into the vat of acid or something, and that whole thing kind of was a bad situation. And then all of this stuff comes about and he's got to deal with it. But before he can be victorious, he's got to look within himself. He's got to look at his past. And there's this moment where he thinks about his parents and his past, and he really confronts that in a brief way in his own heart. And I think that symbolizes where we all are. We're in this place where, before we can achieve the true victory, we've got to really look within and accept, everything that we've experienced, everything that we as a collective have done and, have made. I think you can't separate out yourself from the rest of humanity anymore. You can't say, oh, they're all messed up, but I'm okay. I don't think you can do that anymore. We're not in a place to do that anymore. And there might be certain people who seem to have a more, elevated position than other people, but we're all in this together, and we all have to do the work of looking within and really accepting all of it and unifying ourselves, expanding ourselves to the point where we can accept and see and appreciate and respond to the totality of the human experience and all that we have created and all that we can create. Another thing that, so I want to mention a couple of teachers that I've listened to in the past, and one of them is Lori Ladd. She's great. And she mentioned before, she has a very strong emphasis on like really feeling your feelings and being present with yourself where you are now. And I've heard her mention the idea of really being present with yourself, but also, holding space for something else that you want to manifest or to bring into your life, holding space for the possibility of that, And another one is Andrew Martin, Amar Energy. I saw something on he had a post recently where he used the phrase, lean into your future self. And I thought that was a great sort of symbolic little phrase, because leaning into your future self means it's a dynamic position. You're standing where you're standing. And then leaning means that you are ready to move, somewhere else. It's not like fooling yourself into thinking, I'm over there right now. I'm not right here. It's like a lot of us are doing that. I know I am. I'm like, I want to close my eyes to some situations on the planet, situations in my life, and we can't do that. You have to be where you are and really understand where you are. And to really be where you are and to also see where you want to be, that's where the lean comes from. And so his phrase, lean into your future self, means, I think, to me, it means a profound amount of acceptance of where you are and where you need to go. And that is the dynamic position of moving, of shifting, of expanding. And so this card, the Cosmic Butterfly, once again, like that sunshine in the distance is expanded awareness. It's enlightenment, and we have to bring all of ourselves to that. You can't just say, I'm going to bring only the best parts of myself there to that expanded state. You've got to bring all of yourself. And so my challenge for you, and my challenge for me as well, is to, anytime you feel like the smallness or something is happening that triggers you, or you feel like just discomfort with your life, expand out and hold this idea in your mind of like this multidimensionality, this superposition, that I can be in this position, I can accept what's happening to me, I can respond to that, but I can also expand and hold the presence of the magnificence of my being, as Alana Fairchild put it. The magnificent, you can hold that space, that triggered person, that, I can be like, oh, Mary was triggered right now. I can hold that and hold compassion for that and respond to it in the best way I can, but also hold this bigger sense of self, this sense of self that is divine, that is magnificent, that will help me to respond to this small little trigger in a better way. I think we're all moving towards this, and we all need a little help every single day to expand and to remember that we are far more than what we are experiencing, and we are far greater than all of this. And yet at the same time, all of this little stuff that's happening in our everyday lives, this is the juice of it. This is the human experience. We're here to experience it and to do our best with it, to respond to it, to let it test us, to let it help us to understand who we are and who we can be. So that's my message. Once again, Journey of Love Oracle deck, Cosmic Butterfly. So my prayer for you is that you be the cosmic butterfly. Let us all be the cosmic butterfly and see that cosmic butterfly in each other. So that's all. See you next time. Bye.